Hi everybody, it's Cindy. Today we're going to make handles because last week I showed you some throwing on the wheel. I was making some mugs and I've made several rounds of them since then, and I thought maybe you might be curious as to how we make handles. Well, some people hand build handles and some people pull handles. So I'm pulling handles. And one thing that I learned, I don't know, a few years ago is I learned that if you're going to work in porcelain, probably one of the better ways to make hand-pulled mugs is to make your own paper clay from your clay body. And you can Google that up and figure out, what your formula is and things. But it helps with supporting the handle and shaping the handle after we're done pulling and things. And it also helps with regard to keeping the handle on the side of the mug as it's drying and going through the firing process. So with hand pulling, you're trying to get a uniform pull. And some people try to create a backbone or a recessed area. And over the years, I've decided I like the recessed, and mostly because then what I do is I make these tiny little porcelain textured squares or tiles, and I put them at the top of my handles that kind of give you a thumb rest, so you can choose to use the thumb rest or not. And so we just keep pulling the clay like this. It's kind of like milking a cow, and you gotta keep it wet. And I'm going to just pull 6 of these. And like I said, the goal is to keep them uniform. So you use your hands on both sides and pull down on the clay. And one of the things is to not let it get too dry. And you also want to keep the pulling up in front of you. So it's actually suggested, and it seems as though this does work the best, to stand up and put your bucket higher up, maybe waist height, and then hold your clay up in the air, so you're going to be using some muscles, and be able to see the handle that you're pulling. And I used to measure the length of each handle, and I think I've pretty much now got it down to where I don't need to measure it. They all turn out to be about the same. And I do cut them and let's stand them up to dry them a little bit. And when I'm doing that, what I do is they should look like say a letter D or a letter C. Or you could have it where it's more of the curve and then down instead of like a D. And so it's just a matter of your own personal taste and or the shape of your mug and what looks best on your mug. And you've got some wiggle room, because as you look at your mugs when you're putting the handles on, you can decide whether a letter D is going to work better for you, or whether more of a longer, a sloped style for your handle. Some ceramic artists, they actually put their handles on what I can call upside down. I got a little fleck of something here. And that also makes an interesting look. So the skinnier portion would be up high, and the fatter part of the handle would be down low. So maybe if a mug was larger, this would give your hand maybe more support. It's just an idea. I think, or I've seen some short mugs where people do that upside down when you've got maybe a more bellied, round, short mug, and you want just a handle that's maybe more of a circle and a small loop. So it's going to be a 1-finger handle instead of, say, a 3 or a full 4 fingers inside your handle. So anyway, this is how we start our handles. And I've got 3 more to make, but you don't need to watch that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day. Bye.